We'll call the meeting to order. This is the Architectural Board of Review for Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. Can we have a roll call, Mike?
Sure. Member Stradiff.
Here.
Member Kerouac.
Yeah.
Member Dahlman.
Here.
And Chair Hunter.
Here.
And Member Cottrell is absent.
Okay, the minutes of the last meeting, September 6th. Any comments, corrections, thoughts?
I move they be approved.
I have one comment, which is I didn't realize that Scott had been elevated to a trustee.
Uh-oh. We can correct that. We
Other
can
than
de-elevate him.
Other than that, okay. All right, so do we have a motion?
Neil made a motion.
I second his with the,
Neil made a motion.
Oh, he did?
Yep.
yeah,
I didn't hear it. I can't hear anymore.
Okay, that's okay. And Matt seconded it?
yeah, with the demotion of
Yeah, I did that when you weren't
member
listening.
staff.
Yeah.
I object.
Okay, did we do that?
Okay, I'll do the roll call. Member Dahlman.
Yes.
Member Kerouac.
Yes.
Member Stradiff.
Yes.
And Chair Hunter.
Right.
Okay, motion passes.
Okay, the part of the session, the non-agenda items and visitors. Anybody out there that has something to talk about that's not on the agenda? And do we have anybody online that's got anything?
Nobody online.
Okay, then we'll move on ahead. So, right, first is a public hearing to review site plan for Shore Acres Country Club at 1601 Shore Acres Drive. Nick, is that you? This is a public hearing, so we have to go through that. Raise your right hand and you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I'm here this evening with Keith Marino from Shore Acres and Aaron McCarty, who's the Grounds and Greens Superintendent. We've been working on the configuration of the tee and practice tee and green for Shore Acres. This is part of you're looking at about 18 acres that was the old Arden School site. It's about a third of the Arden, or 2/3 of the Arden School site. The easternmost piece is a residence that you no doubt have seen, that the Crabels are building a house on presently. So there was a plan for the subdivision of the property. This is that subdivision that now contains the practice range for Shore Acres. We were here last December to get a bridge over the wetland, the top right corner of the screen. Thank you, Mike, for putting that up there.
Sure.
That bluish area is a gravel path that connects to the bridge. The bridge is going across the wetland. It's a wood timber bridge. That's complete, and that's not part of this application, but it gets us access from the club down across Shore Acres Drive to this 18-acre piece. The pinkish area is what will be the grassed area of the practice range. What your commission is looking at this evening is basically grass and gravel. There are no structures being proposed at this time, but I will mention that eventually we'll come back with a storage building about midpoint in that pink, lower left corner of that pink will be a garage scale structure, single story, but that's going to come back before you at a separate time. It's just a placeholder. There is along that yellow stripe, there's the old Arden Shores Road that comes in from Sheridan, is present along the wooded area, which is the white area. All those dots that you see are existing trees that are remaining in the white zone. The pink area we have removed, except for a few trees, the majority of the trees in that pink area to make a viable practice range. As I was saying, the yellow zone is at Arden Shores Road that's going to continue into the property to provide access to maintenance vehicles. It's not a public thoroughfare at all anymore, but that's a gravel road. So that's one item that you'll hear us saying. It's just a compacted road base gravel. It's not going to be paved, and it's just a 15 feet wide. Presently, it's being used as construction access to get to the eastern piece, the Crable piece. And then once Crables is done, that will close itself off at the lower right corner of the eastern property line of this property. The other element that we have here is the practice range itself, and the T is the greenish rectangle, and 80 feet by 200 feet long, and that will be just a different grass type, bent grass. In that, the rest of the pink area will be a normal fescue bluegrass blend. If I say the wrong species of mix, Aaron will straighten me out on that. But so the elements that we have here, besides the gravel of the access road, the grass of the T and the range, is the bluish area that will be a cart path to get me from the bridge down to the back side of the practice range. So those are the physical elements, what we're talking about. There's absent any vertical structures. At one time when we came in, at the time the property was being subdivided, we anticipated having a raised T, which would be normal for some ranges, to have an elevated T to get you above the practice range. We've actually kept it flush and level with the ground, mainly because we were able to keep a few more existing trees and still get a high-quality practice range out of this. So it's not any major grading changes. There have been a number of old foundations, pavements, and concrete and rubble that's been taken out of here. When they knocked down the old Arden School, they've kind of leveled it, but there's a lot of subterranean remnants that have been cleaned up. Aaron's been busy grading, smoothing, and hauling out multiple loads of broken concrete, broken asphalt to get the practice range set up. The steps ahead will be to get this grassed and seeded this fall. One thing I don't want to overstep here is the T part, the 80 by 200 T, will have an underground drainage system. This is a conventional, just like you would have in a green or a tee of a golf course, and it will be irrigated. The irrigation is coming from the club itself, so that in the back of the package you'll see a very exciting irrigation and drainage plan, but that's part of the application. None of those elements will be visible except for the circumference heads flush of the irrigation heads at the surface of the T area. That's a pretty good overview. I can answer questions. I'm happy to hear what your thoughts are.
Nick, I'd like to ask one question that a resident asked me about access, and I actually want to share an aerial photo just so everyone understands the question I'm asking here. Let's see. So as you know, I mean, here's Sheridan Road out here, you know, Shore Acres Country Club is over there, and there's this access, I'll zoom in a little bit. There's really the driveway, and then there's a Arden Shore Drive that leads to some residents out to the east here, and you know, the old access to this property has been through this Arden Shore Drive, which is separate from Shore Acres Drive, and comes in, makes a 90-degree turn, comes up and makes another 90-degree turn, and then I know your construction access is basically straight in here. For the permanent access, are you planning to keep the construction access that's straight in here from Shore Acres Drive?
Aaron opened that up just for construction purposes. It'll close back up. So it's just a temporary graveling between the two parallel Shore and Arden Shore roads. So that's going to get closed back up, and then that's part of a revegetated area.
Okay. I think one of the questions from the neighbors to the south is, are they gonna, how much traffic and what time of day is traffic? Are people gonna be driving like big lawnmowers at 5:30 in the morning to get to the practice tee down that lane in the back of the Arbor Drive people? Or can you give us an idea what kind of traffic is gonna be on that drive then?
The only thing that will be going over there in the morning will be a team mower that will go through, it will be going over the bridge. We'll mow the rough areas probably once, twice a week, and that will be on the days that we were closed in the afternoon.
Okay,
There won't be much traffic going down that way as soon as the freight bills are finished with their bill.
okay. So your mower would come down the boardwalk from the north, you're saying, over the bridge?
Correct.
Yeah, not the drive along the back of the Arbor Drive people's property. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good to know, thanks.
Neil, have any questions?
No, I think it's well done.
I didn't bring a sample of gravel, and I didn't bring a sample of grass.
It's, really? Come on.
I think-
Matt?
No, the only question I would have is, and I don't know the property to the south, there's no screening, right, on the south end for hooks from the driving range? Are you just allowing balls to fly in
There's
that
trees,
direction?
there's pretty good woods there.
Yeah.
There's a few houses on Arden Shore, but they're quite a distance. Mike can come back to his aerial and you'd see the trees, but no physical
Okay,
fence,
I just-
there's no fencing or screening
Yeah,
proposed.
okay,
Significant plantings.
yeah, that's fine. No, I have no other questions.
Scott?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, is that access road a fire lane? There's
no.
nothing out there to catch on fire except for the woods.
No, eventually Crable's gonna have a road that comes in from Shore Acres at the elbow where Shore Acres is traveling east toward the lake and it turns north toward the club. Near that elbow will be an access for Crable's property. And that would be their fire access. If somebody really got a 911 call and they had to come in on this south road, I suppose they could, but it's not intended to have be a thoroughfare. And there's still the Arden Shore, well, that's further south. So it's intentionally kind of remote. And I mean, there's nothing for fire other than the maintenance building, which isn't there yet. It's not intended to be fuel storage, other than just a ball carrier cart eventually that will happen in that little garage, but that'll be another day that we bring that in.
Okay. Chief, did you have a comment? Okay. All right.
Just for a point, since you brought up the fire protection, the property, the new home to the east you just referred to, as part of that agreement, the club agreed with them, we have the ability to use the club's hydrant by the men's pro shop for fires in that area on the private property as well as on the club property. So they've been very good to work with in that regard. And for the access to what they're doing there, we don't have any concerns about that.
Okay. Thanks, David. Okay, so do we need yes, we do. We need a motion.
Well, are there people
Is there
from the
any other
public who want to
questions out
speak?
there?
Perhaps?
No?
No one from the public who wants to speak tonight on that? No, okay.
I move it be approved as submitted.
Second.
Second? Okay, roll call?
Okay, Member Stradiff,
Aye.
Member Kerouac,
Aye.
Member Dahlman,
Aye.
and Chair Hunter.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Send that recommendation to the village board.
Mike, do we have a potential date?
Yeah, we could do next Monday if you want, either next Monday or 2 weeks after, what's your preference? Either the 10th or the 24th.
Thank you, okay. Let me talk to the rest of the group.
Yeah, just let me know in the morning, then tomorrow, which you want.
Thank you. And I'll let you know in the morning.
Okay,
But thank you all
Sure.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, so we've got the public safety building.
Public safety building, right. This is also a public hearing.
Right. With no
Somebody
one,
gonna speak to that?
I'll
Or you
do
are?
it. Yep,
Okay.
I'll do it. So. Share a couple things.
Well, they took care of the audience.
Let me find my document here.
Do I need to recuse myself on this? If I do, I
No,
can't.
no, you don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
This next one, it says that this is also a public hearing. How do you like that?
Oh,
Right, it is, yep. For a minute, I was afraid the crowd was here to hear me speak about this item. So the plan is to re-roof the building next year, both the flat roof and the pitched roof. The flat roof is just, the roof is just, worn out, aged out, and due for replacement, but that doesn't affect the appearance here. The changes to the appearance are due to redoing the pitched roof. So the plan is to use ventilated roof panels. We have a consultant designing this, but the panels that are plywood or OSB and ventilate on top, ventilation on the bottom, and air channels in between. So they'll, take off the shingles on the existing roof, put this over the existing plywood, and then roofing felt, ice and water shield, and reshingle over this. Which means we need to select new shingles and new gutters, because obviously we'll be going back with a thicker roof, have a little taller fascia, and they'll have to take the gutters off and redo them. So,
So how thick is this? What's gonna add to the thickness of the roof?
I think it adds like 4 or 5 inches.
Really?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's gonna really be ugly.
Do you own this panel system, Bob? Where's that?
It's called Hunter.
Hunter panels.
Yeah, right. It's right.
Little kickback.
Yeah, it's the Hunter panels is what they're using. Or, well, I don't know for sure, but they're going to use something similar to that. He's still working on the drawings for that. But it is just looking to see.
It says a thickness of 2.5 to 5. I guess it depends on your.
Can't the overhang just be extended and then do like a new built-up fascia? Rather than making it 4 inches thicker?
I'm sorry, what alternative did you say? Extend the overhang? I'm not sure how I.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's this existing fascia, right? And you're gonna put another 4 inches on top of that, like that?
Right, yeah.
And that would
right,
just stop at the edge of the existing fascia?
Right.
Or is there a way to extend it to make, so you don't have, because this is already, what, 7 inches, this existing fascia?
Right,
So it's gonna be
yeah,
almost a 12-inch
right.
fascia board.
It's possible, but that would be a lot more work, because then we'd have to put some kind of structure on there attaching to the existing,
Right.
truss to extend it out, and we'd be redoing the fascia board and all that, so that'd be,
Yeah,
it would probably add a good bit of expense.
yeah,
I
true.
would imagine. So anyway, as I've got some shingle samples to show you guys here. Obviously, sorry, it's a little hard on the small screen to be share the screen and still see the menu bars and all that I need. So, obviously, we're familiar with what it looks like, but it's.
Can you
some-
zoom in on that at all?
Yeah, I can, yeah. Whoops, maybe a little too much. Scroll down a little. Whoop. How's that? So I think those existing shingles are the Owens Corning driftwood color, which is kind of a subtle gray-brown with a little red, a fairly subtle look to it, which is not a bad choice. It's still available to use.
Those can't be the original shingles.
No, it was redone in 2005 because of ice, ice damming and leaking
Yeah,
problems.
I think we
then.
looked that up. There was no such thing as ice and water shield when the building was built.
Yeah, okay, right, yeah. Yeah, in 2005, they put another layer of plywood on and re-roofed completely. So, my suggestion for the best thing to use is this, what is it, Golden Harvest Timberline HD, which is the sample we have to my left here on the table. Same brand as what we've used for the Village Hall and train station, which is the center sample, our old sample from a couple of years ago when we did that, but just a different color. It combines a more noticeable red shingle in the blend, along with some light tan and a little bit of blue, a good mixture of colors. So that has a little more contrast to it. I'll flip back compared to the driftwood, which I'll flip back to there. Anyone have any comments on that? Do we want to see the sample up close and pass it around?
Yeah, is there a way that we could meet, like, tomorrow morning, like, put them up against the building?
Yeah, we
Like,
could do that.
outside of
I tell you,
tonight?
that's my least concern.
Well, I know there's other concerns
Yeah.
with the
that's
thickness.
my least-
Yeah.
Either one of those is okay, but I'm
Yeah.
worried about this fascia that's gonna be this
Yeah, the
big.
thickness of
With
that.
no relief, with seams every 8 feet or something that are gonna buckle. And then
Uh-huh.
I hope we're not gonna, underneath, I believe that's cement plaster.
Yeah, right, for the soffit.
Are we gonna do this kind of stuff now?
No, we were not planning to change the soffit.
Okay, that's good, because I saw that picture and I thought, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
we're really
right.
keeping this thing out. It's
Yeah,
already a
no.
cheap building, now we're gonna make it worse.
Right, right.
And then I imagine all the flashing gets redone as well?
Yeah, that's
That
right.
all gets taken off and redone?
Right,
That's
Yep.
all, including the gutters, the downspouts, they're copper.
right. Yeah,
It's all copper.
yeah.
And this system, this underlayment system, is that some consultant's kind of recommendation?
It is, yeah. This structural technologies consultant who did the Carroll Stream Fire Station, it's his recommendation for how to eliminate the ice damming problem.
Is our ice damming because we just improper ventilation, or the slope, or a little bit of everything?
I don't think it's a slope. I think it's improper ventilation. So the other part of the roof is that, under the plywood deck, you have, of course, air channels up to from
Yeah.
the soffit vent to the ridge vent, but under that it's fiberglass bad insulation. So there's wood built into the trusses that the fiberglass insulation is stapled to under
Yeah.
there, but it's not not the greatest air barrier.
Yeah.
Because you have, of course, seams between the fiberglass insulation. And then I think the ice damming leaks, even ones we don't always see, will weight down the fiberglass insulation and cause it to tear loose
Yeah.
on the staples. And then you have a huge gap that lets the heat into the underside of the deck.
Yeah.
There is the problem we're having.
Did they look at a different way of creating that besides this system? Did they come up with, like, here's option A, option B, option C, and we went with option C? Or is this just what was suggested as a,
Well, I have a whole long report. If you guys
Yeah.
are interested, you might be interested in it, like a 50-page report. But I was really, kind of asked the consultant on spray foam under the deck, whether that would be go to a non-ventilated
Yep.
roof, and whether that would be a good option. But he really didn't feel like it would be as reliable of an option as doing this. I'm not sure the rationale or the evidence for that, but I guess based on his experience,
Yeah.
that's what he thought.
Does he sell this stuff?
No, he doesn't have any interest in it.
his uncle?
Yeah. Would you have thought that spray foam under the?
Well, that's what
would
we
be a
use,
good-
I mean, now that's what we're doing, we're creating the whole
Yeah.
igloo effect. I mean, that's the whole new, I mean, that's very expensive though. I mean, I don't know what this system costs, but that, the spray
Right.
foam inside there, you know, you totally have to,
It would be a difficult space to work with
Yeah,
because there's
that'd be the
wires and
other thing.
pipes and ducts and everything in there.
Right,
And you
I
would
totally
have to
get that.
expect some damage to the stuff
Yeah.
in there if you had a bunch of people.
but it definitely
moving
does
around.
create, you know,
Yeah.
isolate that area.
Right, yeah.
Because I'm wondering, you know, if you solve that part, right? So let's say that's conditioned correctly, you know, does that, but below that, we're not changing it, you know, just wondering,
Does it really solve the
how
problem?
did, yeah, does that just create a layer here and then below is still an issue?
You mean if you do the spray foam?
No, if you do this, so I see
Panel.
you're keeping your cold air, like, your cold air is your top 3 inches of cold air then, right? I mean, the ice damming
Right.
comes when you have like cold, but then that last part is warm, right? And then it heats and it goes through a cycle. I'm not familiar with this, so I'm just trying to question.
Right, so you would have ventilation going within these panels from the soffit to the ridge.
So there's
The
a
whole
channel
way.
that goes
There's a
up.
channel that goes all the way up
So it's
from the
not
soffit
just,
to the ridge.
it's not just from the fascia, it comes up from the soffit too.
Yeah,
somehow.
right,
So
right,
what,
yeah.
so then they have to put what kind of a vent in the soffit all along?
You know, that is a good question. I don't know what that vent will be.
Because
it seems
like
has
it
to
almost
vent
have
at the
to be a
bottom
continuous.
somewhere.
You'll do a
Yeah.
continuous one.
Right, right, yeah.
And then does this roof have any, do we have a picture of the roof?
No, not our, well, yeah, here there is.
you got
Here's-
this-
you've
this-
got
But
this
I mean,
picture.
like, are there, like, how does the air, like, does the air, is there like a continuous ridge vent? Are there mushrooms up there? What's
It
the
would be a
relief?
continuous ridge vent,
So then you'd have continuous, so, okay.
yeah.
Is that what we have now?
It is,
that
yeah, it
continuous?
is, yeah.
Okay.
There's 2 vents on the backside that are sort of rounded, they're about that big. And they vent into the attic, there's one on each one.
Yeah, no, those are all for specific
Or
purposes.
maybe those were exhausts.
Are those exhaust?
There, we've added an exhaust for, the evidence room because the marijuana smell was overwhelming to the cops.
Oh, they like that, come on.
In the office. So we added that exhaust fan a couple of years ago. There's a couple other vents for
Yeah.
specific purposes there. Yeah.
Because I've done where they have and I'm not recommending this officially, but where there's it's almost like a continuous ridge vent, but you bring it, but it's down at the bottom end of the roof.
Okay.
And it's the same idea, but it's like continuous ridge, but we bring it down like a foot off.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same thing. It allows the air to go right underneath, you know, without this whole
Right.
buildup thing.
I know what you're talking about, and I'm not sure where on his plan the bottom vent is gonna be, if that's gonna be hidden behind the gutter, or, because I don't think it could be all the way down in the soffit, and he didn't really show us that info, so.
Well, that's a kind of a critical element.
Yeah, right, I'm sure he will have a bottom
Yeah,
vent.
'cause-
Obviously, he's going to have a bottom vent in his design, he just didn't tell us yet where it's gonna be.
So are we here to talk about that or not really? We're just here to talk about the shingles and we're just
Well,
bringing this up.
really just appearance. So
Okay,
the thickness of the ridge. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate your feedback on stuff.
Yeah,
but
no, I'm
I
just-
mean, the ABR is really here to approve the appearance.
Yeah.
So the thickness, the shingles, the aged bronze, color for the aluminum vents. Chief Graff, did you want to say something, ask questions, or make comments on this item?
No, I was just here to listen to your conversations and discussion of the project.
Okay.
I've read the consultant's reports and so forth, which I think some of your questions goes towards that. It's a very lengthy document. Clearly, we need to do something over there. Just as an occupant, I can tell you we've got some problems.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of listening to see what you guys think it all look like.
Cool, great.
Well, there's 2 parts to it. There's the functional part, which you say is going to solve the issues, and then there's the aesthetic part, which to me is going downhill in a ski jump.
Right, because you don't like the roof thickness?
I don't like the roof
additional-
thickness, and, well, I don't care about the roof thickness, I care about what it does to the overall profile of the soffit and the fascia. And, and now you're gonna put a gutter back up there, which I don't know if those are 5-inch gutters probably.
Right.
which helps a little bit, but not enough. And I don't have a good notion about what to do that. I thought Scott's idea was good. What is that fascia up there now? This,
Yeah, I think that's aluminum.
Yeah, it looks like a standing, this,
Yeah, right.
looks like a standing seam, almost like a
well, this side
side
piece is
standing.
copper.
Yeah,
I don't know that fascia was copper. I don't think it was. We couldn't afford that.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be a,
And where's the new vent gonna be?
Yeah, I don't know where the bottom vent's gonna be. I mean, there's gonna be a ridge vent on the top, there'll be a bottom vent on the bottom. I think it's probably built into the fascia, comes by some ways, but he didn't show us that yet. We don't have a full drawing or design, we just have the appearance information so far.
yeah.
And what about forget about the height of the fascia, what about the fascia itself? Is it just a butt joint, every 8 feet or so, or what's gonna keep it from waving and wiggling and actually keep the joints together?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I could have our consultants come to the next month's meeting. One reason I did it in October is so we'd have an opportunity to answer questions at the second one if you guys had questions. I could have them come in November and answer that.
Another thing is changing the trim around the building from white to dark browns really changes the appearance of the whole building.
Well, I don't think we're changing anything that's white. I think it's only the dark
Oh,
brown
really?
stuff that's
No, you're
changing.
gonna
Yeah,
have to
that
Look at this
color
white
is
and
just for
comparing it
gutters.
to that.
Yeah, no, that stays. No, you can't.
Yeah, the white all stays. All the white stuff stays as is.
Oh, so it's not gonna look
That
like
building
this.
was built in, what, 84, I think? Something like that, and I'm surprised that the copper has not turned.
Right, yeah. Right.
Because it was supposed to be green.
It's never patinaed.
And the only place it's ever started to turn is on the top of the hose tower.
Is that right? That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, right.
I have no idea what the cost implications are, but the original design was for metal.
Okay.
Was for what?
Metal roof.
Yeah, that's a,
Yeah, the original, when it was like this. It is a metal, oh, yes, you're right, but that was when we were way over budget and we had to do it over again. That's one of the things that went away. You were village president then.
So are the current problems just ice damming? It's leaking, the roof is leaking into the building?
I think he's asking you, David, or I can try and answer too. I think, yes, that's what the current
That's it,
problems
yeah.
are, yeah.
We do have a fair number of occasional leaks. We do have a humidity issue in the building, and it's very uneven. And yes, ice dams, tremendous icicles on the back of the building. There's some issues.
Yeah, I think there's some, humidity and heating issues that are probably either caused or made worse by, the issues with insulation getting wet and then falling down in spots and letting air leaks in because,
Yeah.
there's not a good air barrier there.
I would like to see the system of this fascia.
Yeah,
What
okay,
they're gonna do, and I don't know what. if they
Section
can-
cut, yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'll have them come back in November, so a section cut for the fascia, show us how much thicker it's gonna be,
yeah.
give us an idea of the
And
proportions.
the venting, yeah, probably the whole
Show how
south
the
of fascia
venting works,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's the cut showing it compared to what's existing too,
Yeah.
not just a drawing that
Yeah.
shows how it looked on another building.
right, yeah, yep. Okay.
So, okay, well, let's go back to the shingles. Shingles probably take 4 years to get nowadays. It's like everything else. Anybody have any thoughts on the shingles?
Well, are we coming back in November to do this?
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
can we, like, before November, are you ordering shingles before?
No, we're not. We're going out to bid this winter and so.
Okay,
but
so maybe
depends
we
So
on
you're
the
gonna do
order.
this in the spring?
Yeah, right, we're gonna have drawings, we expect to have completed before the end of November to send out, advertise for bid.
Okay,
And, get bids in January, February for construction next year.
okay. Well, then, we're just not making any decisions right now.
Okay, so for shingles, I'll get this driftwood sample, so we have that from Owens Corning, and then we can compare that with the timberline. We're
Yeah,
looking
and
at
maybe
those
if we
two
can
leading
look at it outside.
entities. Yeah,
Which one is on
Sure.
the police, well, what's up here?
Um,
When we redid this, and this is the same as the train station.
yeah, so that's the middle sample there, which is more blue-gray
Okay.
and all. So that middle timberline sample is actually library, village hall, and train station are all that color. Although the sample looks actually a little darker than the actual shingles
Yeah.
on the roof there.
Be nice if all the village things were the same, but 1 in 20,000 would notice that.
Yeah,
Right, right.
Okay. All right, so let's see what we can look at then next time around.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it. I think we can. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Yes?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Aye.
Okay. Is this thing off now? You want to,
Yeah.
nobody here knows the story of that building.
Are you
Yeah.
doing, should I put
I
this?
did.
yeah, thanks.
We did it, I did it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Is that,
But it started out, this was in '84. You probably don't remember the economic situation
no,
in
I,
'84.
yeah,
But it started out like this.
yeah,
And the corridors were ground face block, and then it had these things on the end. And across the corridors was a continuous skylight all the way along. And then the roof, Dave's right, was all turned metal.
yeah,
Well, look at the shape. And it was a steel frame.
right,
It
yeah,
had the whole real live mechanical system.
yeah,
And anyway, it came in like $600,000 over budget. And Dave was the village president. He said, "What are you gonna do?" He said, "I'm gonna do it over." And I did.
yeah,
And I said, "But, we gotta cut a lot of money out of it. The $600,000 in
Back there,
1984 was a whole
yeah.
bunch of money."
yeah.
Right, right.
And.
Is this when you're with OWPP or is this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so it's like, how are we gonna take that money out? Well, it became this.
yeah,
It became, it went away from a steel frame. There's 4 big residential units that heat and cool that thing, except for the engine,
Yeah.
the fire engine part. And I said, I'm gonna take 6 inches out of every single room, and you will not know they're gone.
yeah,
And anyway, so that's what we did, and it's really kind of a residential building that's got fire trucks in it.
yeah,
And all this jail equipment came from Johnson Fire Door
oh, yeah,
Road. But it was, so he